So, like I said at the end of the last video, 2007 and the films that Robin Williams did in 2007 are the first films that he did right after coming out of rehab. So he basically had to take what was available to him, and that's, I guess, how we ended up with this. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My ongoing and consistently more and more difficult quest to review every single movie Robin Williams ever made. This week is 2007's comedy, horror, church satire. Not really sure what this was trying to be, but it's License to Wed, directed by Ken Kwapis of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, He's Just Not That Into You, multiple episodes of Malcolm in the Middle and The Office, which you'll notice there's about 5 Office cast members in this film. He also directed the Galentine's Day episode of Parks and Rec, which is interesting that that episode had a male director, but that's fine. License to Wed stars Robin Williams as Reverend Frank Littleton, this eccentric minister who will not marry couples unless they have completed his very intense prenuptial course. And the two main characters in this film, played by Mandy Moore and John Krasinski, are wanting to get married by Frank since he was her childhood pastor growing up, but the only dates he has available are for 3 weeks or for 2 years from now. So they opt for the 3-week wedding date, and just a lot of psychopathy ensues. So License to Wed also stars Mandy Moore, John Krasinski, Mindy Kaling, Wanda Sykes, Christine Taylor Stiller, Ben Stiller's wife. You can also see, I don't know their names off the top of my head, but Kevin and Angela from The Office are both in this as well. For the history background, fun facts, there's not that much of it other than that this was filmed at various churches in the Long Beach, California region. John Krasinski's real-life parents appeared here as well very briefly. The release of License to Wed coincided with Robin's 1-year anniversary of sobriety, which he joked, you get a small chip redeemable for 1 drink. And I would have needed all the drinks in the world after seeing this because, my god, this movie is rough. After I finished this movie last night, I just said out loud, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's clearly supposed to be like a rom-com type thing, but it also has a lot of moments where it feels like it's trying to be a Catholic Church satire, but the script and the jokes aren't really strong enough for that message to be clear. The only good jokes that the movie has are jokes where you can clearly tell they are Robin riffing. There's a scene where he's doing like a Family Feud style thing on the 10 Commandments that's kind of funny. There's a lot of gay jokes. There's a lot of mean-spirited humor. There's a couple of scenes where Robin walks in and just like starts a fight amongst the family. There's a bunch of scenes where the families are roasting each other. The film opens with a narration by Robin speaking directly to the audience. That choice is never made again. If you've been with this channel, you know how I feel about narration choices that are spotty. John Krasinski in this is just being Jim. Everybody that's in this from The Office is essentially just their character from The Office. So it feels like a lengthy, maybe more like fast-paced, weird episode of The Office. The script is written in the way that people don't speak. Like when John Krasinski proposes to Mandy Moore, and he's like, I'm just wondering if you'll marry me. She's like, Ben, I would marry you in a potato sack dress in the middle of a rainstorm, which like, who says that? I just think that this director's style like reeks of The Office and these other types of films that he's done. There's a random child that is with Robin Williams the entire time, which I really couldn't tell if that was supposed to be a commentary on preachers and kids. Like I said, I really wanted to give this movie the benefit of the doubt and say that it was doing satire and commentary, but I don't know if I really can do that because of the whole scene with the babies. At one point, they have to take care of these robotic babies that are disgusting and horrifying, like scarier than I think a horror movie that I've seen in theaters in the past like 5 years. They're pissing, they're shitting out blue toothpaste goop. Like that just 10, 20 minutes was probably one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen on film. I was talking about Robin Williams as a child. The child is scary. He's in every scene with Robin. We don't know what his backstory is, where his parents are, why he's there. And this movie is basically just, the premise and Robin's character just makes him look so creepy, like he's bugging the house, he's breaking in to talk to them about sex. At one point, I really thought that they were going to go down a plot line of having him be in love with Mandy Moore's character, which was bad. There's a whole big joke about the ring gets engraved and John Krasinski wants it to say never to part, and they engrave never to fart, which is just like, oh my god. The best part of this movie was when it ended and there were some blooper reels of Robin making people laugh and everybody on the set just kind of laughing. So I guess they had a good time, but I don't know. This movie just like, I was consistently dropping my jaw just in awe of the choices that were being made and how things were playing out. Nobody's performance is anything special. There's nothing funny about it other than some of Robin's jokes that I already know were clearly riffs, because at this point I feel like I know the man. Like, and I don't know really what else to say about it. It was free on YouTube with ads, if that tells you anything about the kind of movie that it is. What a rough start. It just was not good. This movie was not good. And I really thought that I had more notes than that. I don't know. At one point in Robin's pastoral office, there's like a bunch of photos of him as the Reverend, like photoshopped in with celebrities that were kind of funny. Like all of the jokes, I just really couldn't give them the benefit of being like, oh, I think that was intended to be funny, because I really couldn't tell. License to Wed was successful. It grossed $43 million domestically and $70 million worldwide on a $35 million budget. This was the highest grossing movie for Mandy Moore as a lead at this point in time in her career, which is a walk to remember. Really needs to step up, because what the fuck was this? License to Wed opened at number 4 in its opening weekend, behind Live Free or Die Hard, Ratatouille, and Transformers. So some tough competition, admittedly, but geez, it was basically blown out of the water with incredibly negative reception. The critics' consensus is that it was one of Robin's most shtick-heavy performances, and that Robin was creepy in it, worth more of a horror lead than the comedy lead, which I don't know if I agree with that. There was just a few moments where the jokes weren't, you couldn't laugh at the jokes because it was just people being psychotic and committing these like insane freaky behaviors and bugging people's apartments to burst in right at the moment when they're about to have sex because he doesn't want them to have sex. Some of the reviews wrote, there are few things that can make viewers run screaming from a comedy faster than footage of Robin Williams hamming it up. Another person said that Robin was at his most annoying here, which I don't know if I can blame, I don't want to blame the film entirely on him, because I think the worst scenes were the ones that he was not in, but I do agree, like, obviously this is not the type of thing that people wanted to see him do, or the type of movie that I ever want to think about again. If you want to subject yourself to License to Wed, like I said, it is free on YouTube with ads. You can also pay to rent it from Google, Apple, Vudu, and Prime. Next week, I'm hoping things get a little bit nicer, really not sure. Robin's second film that he did in 2007 was another film that was very out of character for him, August Rush with Freddie Highmore, which I remember really wanting to see at the time when it came out, and I owned a DVD of it at some point, but I've still never seen it. So maybe something good will come out of that, but hopefully it is better than this. So if you're thinking about getting married within the next few weeks, I guess, maybe make sure that your Reverend isn't bugging your home or